Welcome, my dear students of class 8 and 8B to my history class. Today's topic, the same one, industrial revolution and imperialism. In today's class, these are the following points I have mentioned in the board. Please look at it. First point, mass production. Second one, division of labor. Third one, slums and poor sanitation. Fourth one, exploitation. And fifth one, ideologies. Now, what is about mass production? Mass production, large-scale production of goods at affordable rate made good accessible to the common people say easily because of the invention of different machines. The number of machines were invented by the scientists, and the machines started working and supplied enormous goods and covered large market of Asia, Europe and Africa, which also became helpful to the common people since the rates of these supplied goods were very less and quality is also superior. That's why they became helpful. And second one, division of labor. The second one, division of labor, what is it? The factories required people with different skills and workers were classified based on their level of skill. And this division of labor meant the production quality goods more efficient. There are different types of labors: efficient labor and inefficient labor, skilled labor and unskilled labors. Those who are skillful labor, they were given proper training and they were given they were given better facilities than unskilled laborers. But both of these two types of laborers gave manual labor. One group provided intelligence, and another one physical labor. As a result of it, the division of labor made the production of quality goods more efficient. And next one, slums and poor sanitation. Slums and poor sanitation. What is about it? Slums and poor sanitation. During the time when laborers worked, the condition was very much terrible. They worked under terrible conditions. There was no proper ventilation, there was no proper air passing and sunlight passing in their quarters. They lived under a very miserable condition. Most of the poor, and unskilled laborers had no facility. They were not provided with proper medical facilities. So open and they died without being treated by the management, and it was due to the reason a number of innocent people died of mismanagement. And these unhygienic conditions, where they lived under miserable conditions, these unhygienic conditions led to the spread of diseases like cholera and typhoid, and which also claimed many lives. And exploitation and economic disparity. Next point, exploitation and economic disparity. What is about it? During the time when the Industrial Revolution took place, it marked mass employment. So many people came from villages in order to have better jobs in towns and cities. Working hours as a result extended to about 14 hours a day, and the workers were forced to work under harsh conditions, as I mentioned earlier. Women and children worked just as hard for less pay. Women and children worked just as hard for less pay. But they came to assist the works of their husbands, and because of the poverty they had been facing, they had to leave. They had to be factory workers, both women and children. And women and children worked just as hard for less pay, especially in the collieries and textile factories. In collieries and textile factories, women and children had to pay manual labor. They worked hard from day to night. The wealth was concentrated in the hands of a few rich people Rich people means capitalists, money lenders who invested their money, who assumed great riches by exploiting the workers. As a result, the conditions of the conditions of the workers had become very miserable under such circumstances. And next one, ideologies. You know, during such circumstances where people had no right to open their mouth, they could not open their mouth, but they had to face a lot of problems because of the mismanagement of the British industrialists and rich people. Only for that reason, a group of people came forward for the assistance of these innocent people who had no right to open their face, no right to criticize against that system introduced by the money lenders, introduced by the capitalists, introduced by the industrialists. Only for that reason, capitalism, the concept of capitalism, a capitalism grew rampant and new ideologies such as socialism and communism emerged to counter it. The concepts of socialism and communism emerged in order to counter it because of the miserable conditions of the poor people. So in order to protect them from their danger, a group of social reformers, a group of social thinkers, they came forward for their help, and ultimately what happened? The two concepts were formed in the society, namely socialism and communism. Socialism and communism also protected them from their dangers. The exploitation of the working class triggered philosophers such as Karl Marx, such as Friedrich Engels, to fight against injustice done to them, and as a result of it, workers' rights advocated a classless society in which almost all people, but the means of production would be collectively owned by everyone. So both of the two social workers, both of the two social thinkers, they introduced a new theory. They introduced the new theories, new concepts, the concepts of socialism and communism, as I mentioned earlier. Both the two social thinkers, reformers, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, greatly emphasized on a system where productive goods should be produced from industries collectively, where each and every person would have their right to to demand their minimum wages, what they were not paid, and other facilities for producing goods large in quantities. That's why they openly advocated a classless society. Both of the two leaders, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, they openly advocated a classless society in which the means of production would be, collectively owned by everyone. And this system, these new ideologies encourage millions of people. They were benefited with the concept of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, socialism and communism. Up to this, my dear students, thank you. If you have any problem, any difficulty, you let me know. I shall solve your problems during my live class. Just wait here so that work is there, so I should do.